Good afternoon. Welcome to our first meeting, you might say, of the new season of the Energy Awareness Commission on September 11th, 2018. First item on our agenda would be to approve the minutes of the May meeting. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to look them over. Any questions, additions, corrections? If not, I'd approve a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make it to approve it.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second to approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Minutes have been approved. We'll move on to item 2 on our agenda, which is to receive the reports. First report is the Conservation Improvement Financial Report for, you might say, the last 3 months?
Yeah.
So Derek, do you want to enlighten us on
Sure.
what's going on there?
Welcome back, everyone. The first item is the high-efficiency lighting rebate. During the month of August, we rebated almost $11,000 to the commercial and industrial customers. If you notice on the other sheet, which I highlighted this time, the accounts that we're going to talk about, it's the second item highlighted, the HEL rebate. Year-to-date spending has been $51,135.41. So the beginning balance of this account was $50,000. Like I have discussed with other members at the PUC regarding exceeding individual budgets. I was assured that if we do not exceed our overall budget, which was the beginning budget, the CIP was $253,000, we're still in good standings. So, because of course we don't really want to turn away people from these rebates, especially at the end of the year. We have never, as far as I've known, gone over our overall budget. So, it's good it's being used, especially by these industrial and commercial customers, that they know about it and they're using it. The solar rebate, as you all know, we no longer offer this as a rebate, but I believe I've discussed in the past, it was budgeted for this year, then it was cut as a rebate, so that money is still in all the accounts or in the CIP. So this fund has had a little bit of use. The funds were used in this account and were approved by the PUC to be given in the form of an energy education research grant at the public high school. And they're for a curriculum, because as if you've heard in the papers, they're going to be getting solar panels. They're going to be using, obviously, the solar panels to work with their state-of-the-art greenhouse. And then that, out of the beginning $10,000 of the solar rebate, we gave or granted $4,000 to New Ulm Public High School to use for a curriculum around their solar installations. So there's still $6,000 left in that budget out of that total $10,000. So that will be used maybe towards the end of the year to cover, such as the high efficiency lighting rebate that, exceeded its budget, to kind of cover that. Or anything else that may come up, someone else that applies for energy education rebate. AC check and clean, that's kind of wrapping up. We have a remaining balance of $3,400 some left in that. The rebates processed in the month of August was $2,000. So and some of those are still coming in slowly, so that will dwindle down a little bit. So then lastly, the total spending of the CIP year-to-date activity throughout all accounts is we've rebated $131,000, almost $132,000 back to customers. We currently have $121,000 left in all accounts. So if we compare what we're at this year to in 2007 during this time of August, we have a difference of $12,263. I'm off $10 that we've rebated from this time last year to this year. So we have roughly the difference between last year and this year also is $11,763.
So we spent less this year than last year?
We've actually spent,
More?
we've spent more this year.
Okay.
This year at this time than last year.
Yeah, we spent about 132 last year, about 120 at the same period in time. Would it be prudent to maybe recategorize the solar electric rebate and call it the energy education rebate?
You could. The
Yeah,
last
but-
item
In
on
as
the,
much as
But we already got Energy Star rebates.
and we've also got energy education, school education
Yeah.
programs. But I'm just saying, in as much as we no longer have the solar electric rebate, starting
So then if
next
somebody-
year, putting that money into what we call the energy education and research, where we, as we go on with our agenda here, we'll find out that there was such a program, but it wasn't funded. And this is where the $4,000 came out of. Is that
Right.
correct, Eric?
correct.
But if somebody comes up and they want to do a solar thing on their property, then where do we get the money from now then?
We wouldn't be offering
Yeah,
a
it's
solar
it's no
rebate.
longer offered.
At a previous
So we're
meeting,
not gonna, so we're done with the solar thing completely then?
As far as offering a rebate, that was our decision.
that's been done previously, so that solar electric rebate will not appear in next year's budget.
Has in the past 3, 4, 5 years, has this commission been notified about adjustments in, because I'm doing, it's not finalized now, but I'm doing my budget now. Has it been in the past brought to the
We have,
EDC?
we have tweaked monies from one account or from,
Because that's
fund
something
to
I can
another.
put in next month's
Sure.
agenda.
sure.
If, to make it more, you can visually see where I at least have put the money compared to what was last year, what I'm
Mhm.
planning, and then, of course, you as a commission can decide if you disagree with it or you want it, certain monies in this account to that, compared to that account.
As you stated in your comments, there are several accounts that over the years has never been used. So that money has just been kind of carried over. And what's nice about our income and account summary is that the dollars are flexible. So in this instance where we are short in our high efficiency light rebate, we can pull money from another unused account to supplement that as needed. And that's, I think, is a good thing that we have that flexibility yet. Are there any other questions or concerns on our income and account summary?
I'll make the motion to receive and order filed the CIP statement of expenses.
Second it.
Motion been made and second to adopt the account summary for the period ending August 31st. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We've gone through the CIP program. Next item on our agenda is to talk about new business under the thermostatic valve installations. We've talked about this briefly in the past, and Derek has done some more research on this, so you want to bring us up to code on what
Well, as
we're
we
doing?
you just kind of mentioned, there's been a handful of accounts that do not get used. So this was an idea to try to get that money flowing back to the customers. So, during the course of winter months, there's over 100 steam customers that are just using it to heat their buildings, a few houses, mostly downtown businesses. And, they use that as their heating source. And generally how they control the temperature in their buildings is they manually go down and are using the public utilities main steam valve because they do not have a thermostatic valve in their building. So,
Or brick.
Or, yeah, or a brick at the front door and the front door opens and closes, and we've all have probably witnessed that. While this is a convenience to the customers, it eventually results in unnecessary maintenance and installation costs to the public utilities because it's technically owned. The first valve inside a building with steam is owned by the public utilities. So when that leaks, steam bypasses the valve, which is supposed to be stopping it. Not only is there maintenance, installation costs, there's also phone calls of high, it's kind of circulates into a bigger thing than it should be. So as you know, we have a steam rebate. This rebate has minimal use year to year. I believe there is a way that we can use the funds in the district energy rebate and help reduce unnecessary cost to the PUC, and more importantly, help reduce customers' high steam bills. The idea I have is to use the funds in this account to install thermostatic valves at locations that currently do not have them. An estimated cost to install thermostatic valve could cost $1,100. That's roughly $600 for a possible valve, and 3 to 5 hours of labor for $500. And that's an estimate I got from a local vendor. Customers, an idea, customers may select a vendor of their choice that has knowledge of the steam system. So this is in the very early stages. I'm still looking to get information from the Water District Energy Department on how many valves they've had to replace in the last, few years, the cost, labor, the valve itself. This water supervisor was overseas for a little while, so I haven't gotten the information yet, but I talked to him today and they're working on it. But there's options we can look at. We can either decide not to go further with this and let the funds and just advertise more, whether it's in the paper or physically going and talking to owners and businesses about the rebate. We can pay for a few installations full cost out of this fund. We could have the customers pay percentage. I guess I'm looking for thoughts on this, whether or not to either go forward with this, additional information you feel you need to make a decision.
So right now, the steam rebate, we have $4,500 that we allot to that. And then we would add an additional $5,000 for this program?
The
Is that
plan,
the thought?
as of now, I just increased the budget to $5,000.
Oh, okay.
So it's just, yeah.
So it's not
much-
taking like 5,000 from that
No.
solar?
And this is another good reason to maybe bring what I have planned for next year's budget, because I have increased something like this, which we'll be getting to another home audits money from, we had this $10,000 that was in the solar. Parts of that were put towards this, parts of that were put towards what we'll get to next in the agenda, which is the home energy audit. So
Well, I think it's a good idea. I guess my only concern would be with it, and I doubt this would happen anyways, is if, all them 100 customers or whatever it would be, the first year would want to come and use the rebate, which
Right.
probably is unlikely, but, do we want something in there to deal with that? But
the money could be gone when they actually do a repair, and there's not a rebate for them because we're using it for this. Yep. That's
yeah, but I think it's a good idea, especially because if we're already incurring costs to go back and have to replace those valves that are leaking because of this use, it helps both the property owner and the PUC with maintenance, as far as hopefully not having to go as replace as many valves then.
One of our studies with the PUC recently, we're trying to promote the use of the steam energy more anyway, so this is a good time to be a good enhancement to that. The vendors in the area were trained recently.
Right,
Kind of a study of our energy resources determined that we were maybe underutilizing that resource, so I think this would be a good idea to pursue. And we also did just have a customer appeal on a really big
They did.
steam bill, and
Yes,
that
they
was
did.
part of the confusion on that, right? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, so.
Yes.
I think it's a great idea. My only concern is, out of these 100 customers, they'd say the majority of them are absentee landlords.
You're correct, yeah.
And again, the majority of these are in our downtown area, and we've had more recent closures of our downtown. Are they going to be utilized? Are these buildings going to be utilized? Are these people going to spend money on these valves if they have no tenants in their buildings?
They're not sticking nothing else into their buildings downtown. They're not gonna do this.
Well, they'll be paying the utility bill now if the building's empty, where the tenant probably paid it in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think it's a good program, and I think it probably should be a percentage that we cover. I mean, I don't think we want to just say we'll cover the full amount, but some sort of a percentage, if it's a 50% or...
At this point, I think it's worth pursuing more. Derek, if you want, do some more checking with the other departments to see if it's even viable to offer something and approximately what it might run us. You've got the $600 approximate, but I guess I'd like to see something a little more coordinated with the water department and with, and if nothing else, to set up communications with the 100 or so customers that are still using steep.
Yeah, maybe a marketing plan, kind of how you plan to market it.
Yep.
Any other discussion on the thermostatic valve installations?
I'll offer a motion to begin the process of the thermostatic valve installation program.
I'd second it.
Motion's been made to begin the process of, sorry, I lost the wording again, of starting,
Thermostatic valve.
initiating a program to cover this. All commissioners in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The next item on our agenda is the home energy audits by the MNCEE. And if you want to update us on the progress of that, Derek?
So this is another account that does not get any usage. This energy audit account had a beginning balance of $3,000. There hasn't been no use this year yet in this account. Within the last 8 years, funds have rarely been used. The last time a rebate was issued was in 2014, and in prior years of 2012 and 2011. Nearly July of this year, I contacted the Center for Energy and Environment, the MNCEE, regarding home energy audits. I actually was looking for other ideas, CIP ideas, different possible rebates, and I came across Rochester Public Utilities had worked with the Center for Energy and Environment to implement a program for customers called Neighborhood Energy Challenge. It's a full-service residential energy audit program. The Neighborhood Energy Challenge includes a free energy workshop. The workshop is mandatory to participate in the program and will help customers learn new, no, or low-cost strategies to save energy. After attending the workshop, customers can sign up for a home energy audit, and they'll get a professional energy auditor to come do the test and install different things that the Rochester Public Utilities actually purchased for the customers. So the second sheet kind of gives a description of the pricing that the Center for Energy and Environment sent to me, kind of what they had used with the Rochester Public Utilities, kind of the cost of what the overall audit is. So it was like a $300 audit. they actually had their customers pay $100. The utility picked up the remaining $200. And I don't recall which of these other possible installs Rochester, purchased for their customers, but these are the options that the Center for Energy and Environment gave to Rochester, such as a programmable thermostat, water heater, blanket, stripping, LED lights. Another cost is the workshop was $500 each time. So I think Rochester Public Utilities did 3. They're bigger town, bigger utility. They had 3. And on the last sheet, which I actually put next to the laptops that I did not put with the agenda packet, was kind of a rough estimate of what Center for Energy Environment gave to me as a install items with the price, and then the other columns where they say install and that are highlighted different colors with an X. Those would be the items that we could, I decided to just randomly pick, and the total cost would be, and then on the right side is what I have budgeted or proposed for a budget for this if we continue to do it, which is $8,400. And below it are the number of audits that we could get based on the price of those installs. So, we can do any of these installs. These are just some random installs that I picked just to throw in to give you an idea. So there's the cost of doing, almost everything of $534, roughly 15 audits we could do. And it's an estimate because the workshop is $500, but it's paid once. So I just took a third of that and added it on to. So these aren't factual numbers, but they're rough estimates.
I think, as we've stated in the past, part of the problem with the energy audit program is I'm not sure that enough people knew about it to even take advantage of it. And this would certainly give it a great boost to get that money used and ultimately to do our job to conserve more energy and educate customers on how to do it. So
I did attach actually a video from Rochester. I'm not sure if it actually will work here, but if you had a chance to look at it or want to understand kind of what they did, it's good publicity.
Yeah. Did Rochester give you an idea of how many, or did they tell you how many people they had participated actually in the audit then after?
I didn't actually talk to anyone from Rochester. I pretty much have communicated with Center for Energy and Environment. I think they were doing over 10 audits, I think is what they started doing, but they've maybe done it a few years. So they're continuing to do it. So I guess it's just whether or not we want to continue
And would
to look
we-
into this, and if we want to decide now, maybe we need more options, or what I need is what we feel is a goal number to start with. Then from there, that number will decide what installs we'd like to purchase for our customers.
Do you think we could also add an option of a lesser amount or even a free audit for
We-
low income?
We
for
could.
Those low income.
We could. Like I kind of was discussing earlier, and I don't recall if MVAC, with our contract with them, if they offer.
that was my
if they
next.
do-
Oh, the audit?
I think, Ricky had mentioned that.
I know that they were doing it.
Well, they offered it, but I'm not sure that, exactly like Rick said, I don't know that they've done any.
I haven't
thought
had
they
one
had-
come across my desk yet, but I've only been here 9 months.
I thought they had problems finding auditors or getting auditors to hire to do it.
That could be. I
But-
How long is a workshop?
think it was 2 hours.
Is that
Hour.
something,
It's
maybe we could put that on at the home show?
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
And combine the marketing for this at that home show booth.
We could get more, then we wouldn't have to worry about trying to rent the space either, if that's the case. We could have anybody at the home show be knowledgeable about it, and we'd still easily get our target number of people.
I like Linda's idea of maybe conducting a program during the show as other organizations and groups have done. So given that, is there any further discussion on how we should proceed with the home energy audit program?
I'll make a motion to receive and approve the expenses to include it in the budget for next year for the home energy audit.
I'll second that.
Motion been made and then seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We will proceed with our home energy audit program. And the other item on our agenda is the Energy Education and Research Grant. And in your packet, there's an overview of the history of this and what's been done in the past. And Derek, if you want to bring us up to date on the grant situation.
Well, we currently have a grant available for customers concerned about energy education and research. It's staff's belief that the Energy Education Research Grant was established around 2007. Currently, staff believes applicants have applied for this grant 3 times with varying amounts requested. Recently, New Ulm Public High School applied for the grant offered by the PUC. The requested amount was $4,000, and it will be used to help educate students on renewable energy. Sometime soon, the public high school is installing solar panels and will have a curriculum available for students grades 9 through 12. Upon receiving this grant, staff realized that the EERG was not budgeted, and many staff members were unaware of this program. It is in the best interest of the PUC to have the EAC decide whether to continue this grant or to end this grant. If the EAC elects to continue this grant, a maximum amount of funds should be established for this grant. Additionally, the application should be reviewed for suggestions. At least the few people I asked about it weren't familiar with it. There probably were other people that were familiar with it. But being new, I guess I wasn't familiar with it yet.
Nor was I, and I'm not new. Rick, how about you?
No, we never talked about this.
Is this something that came about as part of some other piece of legislation? Oh, it was that? Okay.
I think it was when I was there, then I think that was something that came about then, if it was created in 2007. But I don't remember the specifics
Old files.
behind. I think we just wanted to have, if the school
Yeah.
came with a project that they wanted to do in the energy area, that we could, allow them some funds to do some research and to educate kids. So yeah, I think it's a good program, and I think it probably just hasn't been promoted to the
Right.
schools for some
Exactly.
available
Right.
dollars.
Right.
I guess I would support it. I would think that I don't know how much you've integrated that $10,000 into the budget, if you've used all that, or if,
Most of it, but of course, the budget isn't
Right.
finalized yet, so that's why I think it'll be good that I
know.
put that on agenda for next month.
if you put in 2 or 3 or even $4,000 to have available.
Well, and we do have the miscellaneous education fund showing a $13,000 balance there as well.
Oh, sure. And that's probably where we would have taken it out of. guess didn't notice that.
I like the idea of the program, and if one school has used it, I would anticipate other schools or other groups trying to use it, and that's what we want. My only reservation is I would maybe put the amount and cap it at $5,000 per year. That's just a personal thought.
That's a pretty generous grant.
Yeah.
If it only goes to one, it could.
If it only,
certainly
yeah,
be divided
you know,
too.
yeah.
What
But I was thinking
classes?
cap
But
at
our
2,000.
overall budget in there, I would be in favor of limiting it to $5,000 overall, total.
Now, what classes are we gonna be aiming this at? The science classes, your shop classes? What are we gonna aim this at?
That's the school district's decision.
Well, you see, it's a, because if we're going to put a $5,000 cap, is that a $5,000 cap for the science department? Is it a $5,000 cap for another department?
It would be a
Per
$5,000 cap on the grant.
On the total grant that goes to the school for that year?
Whoever, if we've got two schools that come to us for $2,000 each, we
Okay.
can fund both of them.
All right.
But I don't think
So
our
$5,000 a year,
$5,000
a year
annually-
paid out in a grant, or several grants, but no more than that.
We probably should, though, have some understanding of what the difference is between school education programs and energy awareness and research. There's
Mhm.
potentially, I guess it's our money, we can budget, spend it out as we see fit when we receive requests for it, but a grant application, they're gonna wanna know what it is.
You could probably just take some of that miscellaneous education and make another account under inputted for grant, just specify, then it's set at $5,000 and,
Oh, wait, we have miscellaneous education, school education, and now this
Mhm.
potentially a third one.
right.
Miscellaneous education, I guess I would interpret as not necessarily being school-related.
So the,
Right, yeah.
Same thing as this
That's
one.
kind of
This
what
one
I
is-
account, yeah.
This one is energy,
Oh,
education,
sure.
and research. That doesn't necessarily, well, I guess the grant application does say it's tied to an educational institution.
And previously, as is mentioned in the overview here, the PUC would be the determinant of who would receive these grants and in the amounts that they would get them.
Can the college apply for this?
I-
They're a customer.
If they
thinking
are,
the
a
same
if
thing
they
then.
are a PUC customer.
I agree. I just wanted to clarify, or verify.
Mhm.
So does this group needs to put some parameters around all of those three categories in our budget? In terms of what each of those, the education, school education programs, miscellaneous education, and this was what, education, energy, and research grant?
Energy Education and Research Grant.
Yeah.
As I read it, the PUC is interested in us to decide whether to continue this grant or end it.
Right. But I'm just saying as a bigger question then, how that fits into the fact that we have a budget for energy, miscellaneous education and school education. Although I guess those two categories sort of suggest those are things that we would be, these aren't grants that we're giving out, right? Sorry, I'm thinking out loud. So the school education program budget is $3,000. That isn't necessarily money we're gonna give to the school.
that's,
That could be,
that's the program that they go to, the what is it, the fifth graders?
Fourth graders.
Fourth graders.
Presently, that program is used for the promotion of the posters contest and education at the fourth grade level in
But those
all,
are-
in
those are
all of our schools.
expenses that the PUC or that we incur.
Yep,
Not
Yeah,
money that we're
it's not-
granting out.
right.
Correct.
Okay.
right.
Yep,
Right.
correct.
And the miscellaneous education is the same thing, that's just money that we would incur ourselves for,
Right.
okay, I'm sorry, that
Yep.
probably.
So probably under that miscellaneous education, is that where you would do some of the Public Power Week stuff?
I probably would take some things
Yeah,
out of
out of
that. If there's some random things that I could be using with the school education programs, but I can buy in bulk and possibly use later, I may credit or debit some things from that.
So what is the history on this miscellaneous education? Have you ever spent the full 15,000 out of there? you know, if you look at that history and
Mhm.
if you take some of that, say you only spend about $10,000,
Right.
you take 5,000 and put it in the school education for the grant
I think
purposes.
since I started towards the end of last year, not knowing what to expect, I really tried to wipe them out
Mhm,
with some, you know,
Some kind
some
of
things that I had
promotions.
brought in
Those
one time.
educational
the
materials that you
educational
bought.
materials and some things I may have used at the home show too. I don't know if I actually use all the money in one or the other, but they
Mhm.
were close. And really, I suppose it depends on how much a person had purchased the prior year and what can be used.
Oh, sure, because you got the open house here. That's when you do your public power.
Yep.
I guess I'd just like to remind the commissioners that overall, our total budget, if we don't spend it, it goes into the city general fund. So, it'd be in our
PUC.
best interest
Yeah.
PUC's
into
general
the
fund,
PUC
yeah.
general fund. So it'd be in our best interest, I think, to try and spend down the amount and not carry anything over, because there's no advantage to us to do that. And again, we've got flexibility. If there's money in one account, we can use it in another one. Just as long as we don't overextend our total $253,000.
So I'm going to make a motion to continue the EERG and set a limit on the funds for the grant of $5,000 a year spent on grants. And then to continue to develop and put parameters on it and budget however you feel you need to fit it into your budget.
I'd second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to continue the EERG grant program and to cap the amount per year at $5,000. Is there any further discussion?
Is there a way that we're putting it in there so that it can be raised up at a later date?
Oh, absolutely, we could always raise
Well,
it.
that's what I was wondering, if we have to put something in there for later on, that it can be raised.
Initially, I'd like to set the amount at 5,000.
Yeah, just keeping it, all right.
You could just make a motion later years that
Yeah.
it be raised.
All right.
Yeah.
If we find it's not sufficient or if there's
Mhm.
reason to.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of said motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. And that should conduct all of the new business. Is there any additional business? I see we have another member showing up. Thank you for coming today. That being said, our next meeting is October, what is the second? Second Tuesday in October. I should have looked.
9th.
October 9th at 5 o'clock. There's no other business. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. We are adjourned. Thank you.